What is up? My name is Adam. I'm in the progressive death metal band Parthian. The year's almost over, so I think it is time for us to tell you what our favorite metal albums are for the year 2023. Let's get it going.
So, before I get into my top three, I got to give an honorable mention, big honorable mention, to Avenged Sevenfold with Life is But a Dream. Easily my most played record of the year. However, I'm sure it's going to show up in this video at least once, if not twice. So I figured this is a great opportunity to show some love to some other absolute bangers that dropped this year. Coming in at number 3, I've got Newman by Alkaloid. It's heavy, sludgy, old school tech death with just a splash of modernism. It's been 5 years between their releases, and in my opinion, it's been absolutely worth the wait.
Starting off with number 3 of my top albums of 2023, I have Step Into the Light by the Acacia Strain. It's basically play the riff back but slower and heavier the album, and I like their simple is more approach.
Alright, my top 3 albums of 2023. Coming in at number 3 would be Go Rod's The Orb. We recently got to play with Go Rod, and amazing musicians. You can tell they love what they do on stage, and it shines in the album. It's a great album.
Before I get into my top 3, got to give a special honorable mention to one non-metal album, and that is Post Malone's album, Austin. Definitely one of my most played albums of the year. I couldn't get enough of it. If you haven't heard it, check it out. Post Malone. But moving right into my number 3 choice, I've got to go with The Zenith Passage with their album Date Elysium. Or at least I hope that's how it's pronounced, because that is a lot of letters and I am not very smart. So, Date Elysium is probably the tightest guitar album I've ever heard in my entire life. It's all very, very low gain and percussive. First thing that caught my attention was the rhythm guitar playing. Honestly, one of my favorite guitar albums, probably ever.
Number 2, I've got Heresy Arc by the Ritual Aura. I adore the Ritual Aura sound. It reminds me of the heaviest D&D campaign you have ever played. The song structure and the riffs are extremely intelligent. The performances are top-notch. The production is top-notch.
Coming in at number 2, I have Life is But a Dream by Avenged Sevenfold. When I heard the album for the first time this year, I was laughing with glee. I was just so happy that they were taking those creative risks and making some of those choices. It was obviously mixed incredibly well, and it was really inspiring that you can never be afraid to try something new.
Okay, my number 2 pick goes to an individual named Aurora Dream. The album name is Rubik's. It's some pretty cool Polyphia, Pliny-esque prog metal. This guy actually plays. He has a lot of guest stars on the album. Achiko is on it. Also Tim Henson does a guest solo on one song. Just to name a few, there's every single song almost has a different person on it. Not only is it very well written, it also released side by side with an 8-bit version of the entire album, which I'm not even sure which is my favorite. I hop back and forth between both all the time.
All right. For my number 2, same producer, same genre, but very, very different feel. I've got to go with Cattle Decapitation and their album Terracite. So I talked a little bit about the rhythm guitar playing, which is also insane on this album, but it's a much more like crushing traditional guitar tone. One of the meanest sounds I think I've ever heard on a metal record. So their vocalist experiments with some really, really interesting stuff, and this album is no different. However, on this album, I feel like they went more melodic. There's a lot more ear candy parts and kind of singable melodies. And clean singing, is one of those things that people have their opinions about in death metal. And I personally think in this instance, it fit the music perfectly, which is what's important to me when it comes to clean singing in death metal.
Coming in at number 1, I've got Visania by Demon King. And this EP has been on almost constant repeat since it dropped this year. If I can't figure out what I want to listen to, I just default to this EP. It's heavy, it's fast, it's technical, and it's all executed at an absolute master level. Some of the musicianship on here is out of this world. The songs are insane. Absolute masterclass in tech death. So I highly recommend you pick it up.
My number 1 album of 2023 is Moments Elsewhere by Johnny Booth. They got something in there for everybody if you're a fan of metal. They got melodic hooks. They're playing around with different time signatures. They got heavy ass breakdowns. They have interludes. Anyways, thanks guys. Have a great year.
My number 1 pick for the top album of 2023 goes to a band. They've been around for a bit, but I think that this album, they truly shine. A Mutoid Man, and the name of the album is Mutants. They really aren't shy to step outside of their bounds. Some songs sound proggy, other songs sound like almost thrash, some stuff sounds like tech death, other stuff sounds like math rock. They don't give a fuck. They do whatever they want, and it shines through the music.
And now, the moment that literally no one asked for. My number one album of 2023. I've got to give it up to my favorite band since I was 13 years old, Avenged Sevenfold, with the craziest, most progressive, most wild album I could have ever expected them to put out in Life is But a Dream. Life is But a Dream is also a very guitar-centric album. It sounds like there's a lot of synths and weird noises and kind of soundscapey textures going on, but there's a lot of very, very clever guitar tones and guitar textures hidden all over this album, which is super, super interesting. But on top of that, no two songs on this album sound the same. It's all exciting. It's all the stuff I love. I'm a prog nerd, so, you know, you just have to deal with it. Avenged Sevenfold gets my number one album. Bye! There it was, our favorite albums from 2023. Make sure and get in the comments below and let us know what your favorite albums were. We'll see you soon.
Wow.